are going to be doing some delicious healthy cookies for Christmas. We're going to be making these gorgeous little Christmas trees, and they are actually low in sugar and gluten-free. So join me and we can have lots of fun with our kids and bake these for a very special occasion. So to make these delicious cookies, we're going to need 125 grams of cold butter. I sourced some farm-style butter, just because I like that. But what we want to do is actually just make sure that they can be cut up, and we're going to add some gluten-free flour to this, and we're going to make some breadcrumbs. So I'm going to add 125 grams of gluten-free flour. Now, this is our flour. It is made with potato starch, rice flour, tapioca flour, and some xanthan gum. So it's totally gluten-free. And I'm going to actually just use this too. So 1 cup works out to 125 grams. So we can just put that in there. You don't need to sieve it. You can actually just throw it in because we're going to make those breadcrumbs. Right, there we go. Okay, so now you're going to get all dirty. You're going to put your fingers in here and start to actually just break these up and get them into the smallest breadcrumbs that you can. So we love this flour because it actually works for any kind of gluten-free recipe. I also take any recipe that I know and I can replace normal flour with this gluten-free flour mix. So it is actually very handy to have around, especially if you're cutting gluten out of your diet, or if you've got obviously anybody in your family that has any gluten intolerance or celiac disease. So once you get your butter into a nice little breadcrumb type format, we're going to add some delicious Christmas spices. So we're going to add some cinnamon. The recipe calls for about half a teaspoon. I like to make it a little bit more. So we're going to add that, and then we're going to add some ginger spice. That's an extra Christmassy spice. I'm going to put a little bit more than half a teaspoon as well. Right, now we're going to give this a toss, and then we're going to look at mixing some honey with an egg. So the original recipe called for sugar, but we don't like using sugar. So we use our fabulous Zambian honey, and I've already pre-measured out some because it can get quite sticky. And we're going to use an egg. So 1 farm egg. Please always source your eggs pasture raised. So we're just going to give that a quick beat. And once this is beaten, I'm going to add 100 grams of honey. And that should be more than enough to sweeten this cookie. And don't forget, in the cookie there will be icing, so the actual cookie itself doesn't have to be super sweet because there is a little bit of icing on the top, and that's enough sweetness for our little ones, if you ask me. So right, there we go. So we're just going to keep binding these two together, and once they're together we can mix both different mixes. Right, so just give it a little whisk so that it can just combine. And now we're going to put the two together and make a delicious dough. Right, gorgeous golden eggs and honey mixture, and let's get these mixed together. Okay, so what you want to get is a beautiful consistent dough. But if it doesn't look like it's coming together well, what you need to do is just add more gluten-free flour. So we're going to keep adding until we get to the right consistency, because we want to get it into a dough format. Right, so I'm going to keep adding some flour here, and then I actually need quite a lot more. And that all depends on the size of the egg. So if the egg is quite big, your dough mixture might be quite runny. So what you want to do is try and get it to consistency that you can work with and roll out. And I'm going to add a little bit more. This should be enough to get us to a nice dough format. Oh, I'm making a lot of mess here. Right, here we go. We're almost there. These are so delicious. My children don't even know that they're made with honey and not with sugar. which is great because, you know, in Christmas time, you don't want to spike sugar levels, especially while the kids are not at school and you have a house full of screaming children. But, right, here we go. I'm going to add a little bit more flour. See? Right, here we go. I think there's a little Zara that wants to come and join. Come, do you want to come and bake? We'll be baking cookies. You going to help me mix? Come sit here and help me mix. Right, sit down. There we go.
Honey?
Yes.
Honey?
No, that one is cinnamon. Right, so I can actually pick this up now. It's almost like a dough. And this is exactly what we want.
This one star.
Really? You want to make a star? We're going to make some stars. We're going to roll this out and we're going to make some stars. Make some cookie stars. Okay, so right, here we go. Let's just clear our surface of anything that is not meant to be there. Because we're going to need to roll this out. So we're going to put some flour down. Make sure you use quite a bit of flour because if this sticks, we will have a very sticky mess and it will be very difficult to peel off the counter. So hence we're going to put a lot of flour on here and we can just push it out and roll it out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and just get it to about a few millimeters thick. We don't really care too much. We're not really trying to be precision bakers here. We're just trying to have fun with our kids. So are you ready to put the stars? Wow, look here. Okay, so what I suggest is you actually dip these little stars into the flour, oopsie, just before. Oh, that one worked out well. And then you just make 3 different size stars because that's what we want. We're going to just do a whole lot here. Whoopsie daisies. We're going to do a whole lot here. And then this is the fun part. Let's peel all of this away. Zara's making 100 stars here. And then we're just going to plop them on our baking sheet. Just a little bit apart from one another so that they can bake beautifully. They don't grow too much, so that's also okay. So, right, here we go. Zara, can you put a star on for me? Do you want to eat it? You can. It's alright. It's not too bad. Here we go. Let's get these nice ones over here. We can roll this up. So you can roll it up 100 times. Doesn't matter if your kids make any messes. It's all about having fun with your children at the end of the day.
I want stars.
Yes, you want stars. Let's make more stars. Okay, so let's roll it back up again. So you can do this. You'll do this a few times until you actually get to the point where all your dough is used for the stars. Does that taste nice? A little bit of a raw egg in the mix, but you're okay. You're going to be fine. Okay, so we're going to re-roll this out again. Just make sure that you've got your flour base. Otherwise, we're going to start sticking again. Wait. Let's roll quickly. Let's roll. Just any which way, actually, so that we can just get some basis. And especially when you've got little young ones and they start losing concentration quite quickly, you want to get this done quickly. Okay, good. That's a great job. Right, we need all the different sizes because we're going to build little Christmas trees. We have to have the base, which is the bottom one, which is the biggest star, and then we have the other ones on top. So we want to do 4 stars high to make a Christmas tree. Now these are also really great for party favors. If you wanted to do a Christmas party, you can pop these on everybody's plates. I think that would be really beautiful. Right, there we go. Okay, so our cookies are filled. We're going to pop them in the oven. Preheated the oven. Do you want to count them? I preheated the oven and it's 180 degrees and we're literally going to put them in for 10 minutes. They cook super quick. Just stay close to your oven because it happens fast. And then we're going to let them cool and ice them. once you've cooked and cooled your cookies, we're just going to leave them here. We're going to make some delicious royal icing, which requires 1 egg. And then I'm going to separate it. Don't judge, because sometimes this can go really wrong. But so you just remove the egg yolk and maybe find another way to use that. Maybe make mayonnaise later or something like that. But we're just going to use one simple little egg yolk, and then we're going to add some icing sugar. But now this particular icing sugar is xylitol icing sugar. So I'm going to say this with caution. Obviously, we're going to use this as a glue to make these little Christmas trees. But please don't give your children too much of this. It can cause a little bit of a runny tummy. Right, so I'm gonna whip this up, and I'm gonna make it nice and fluffy till soft peaks, and then I'm gonna add the icing sugar. Shouldn't take too long. We've got an electric beater. Okay, so I've whipped this up to soft peak, and we're going to add in the icing sugar now. Right, quite a bit. Oopsie. You're just going to have to gauge how much you're going to use. And it will be in the recipe below. Right, there we go, fabulous. Now this will be just enough to glue our little Christmas trees together, and we will then be able to decorate them beautifully. Okay, so you take your biggest little star, and you're just going to put a tiny little dollop of icing on the top. And as usual, mommies end up doing all the decorating and kids lose interest, but that's okay, I enjoy doing this anyway. So right, we've got our first star. You don't need to be very precise. And we're going to take the medium star, we're just going to glue it on top and make a little sandwich. But just make sure that your edges are all opposite. Right, and we're going to do another one, just a little dollop of glue. Do that with a small star. And I feel like it needs one more. I feel like you can't only have 3. So I'm adding another small star at the very top. Okay, okay. And we're going to glue them on like that. Right, so let me pop this on my plate. Right here, we're going to let it dry. Try and keep everybody together. And then what I like to do is take the end of a spoon and we're going to just dot the edges. Right. So here we go. I'm going to just take the little end of a spoon and you just put a little dot, tiny little dots on the edges, like that, so that we can do our little balls of gorgeous, almost like decorating a Christmas tree. Fabulous. And then on the very top one, I like to do just a little extra dollop. And that just makes kind of like a little one of those. And then what I've done is I've prepared these little balls. I've separated them into colors so that the kids can choose which color they want to use. So I'm actually going to go with green because it is a tree after all. And then what you do is you just stick these little balls on the edges of the tree. Fabulous. Let's see, what if you drop them everywhere? And then if it goes a little bit messy, you actually don't mind. You want it to be homemade. Right, there we go. So I'll carry on doing that, and then we'll make a few more. Even if that goes over there, that's also right. And I'll make a few more, and then I'll show you. Right, so this is what we land up with. A beautiful, stunning little Christmas tree, all embedded with little jewels. And I also like to put in a little bit of fairy dust. So I don't know what this is actually called, but I just think a little bit of fairy dust on top just gives it a little bit of extra Christmas zhuzh. There we go. So happy baking. I hope your children love it, and your guests if you are serving it at a Christmas party. And bake healthy and be happy.